The Ammonites, Moabites and Edomites joined forces and declared war on Jehoshaphat. They marched towards Jerusalem and are already at En-Gedi, south of Jerusalem, when messengers came and told Jehoshaphat. Jehoshaphat was terrified by this news and begged the Lord for guidance. He also ordered everyone in Judah to begin fasting. So people from all the towns of Judah came to Jerusalem to seek the Lord's help. King Jehoshaphat stood up in the temple courtyard and prayed. He recalled their ancestors' faith and prayer towards the temple whenever they faced a crisis. He also remembered how God had guided them to the promised land. Through the territories of Edom, Moab, and Ammon to the promised land. God did not allow them to invade these nations. But now these very nations are threatening to take away the land that God had given to Israel as an inheritance. Feeling helpless, he called upon the Lord to deliver them. Then the Spirit of the Lord came upon a Levite called Jahaziel. He said,
"This is what the Lord says. Do not be afraid. Don't be discouraged by this mighty army. For the battle is not yours, but God's. Tomorrow, march out against them. You will find them at the end of the valley that opens into the wilderness of Jeruel. But you will not even need to fight. Take your positions, then stand still, and watch the Lord's victory. The Lord is with you, O people of Judah and Jerusalem."
Then King Jehoshaphat and the people bowed low with their faces to the ground, worshipping the Lord. Early in the morning, they left for the desert of Tekoa. On the way, Jehoshaphat stopped and said,
"Believe in the Lord your God, and you will be able to stand firm. Believe in his prophets, and you will succeed."
After consulting the people, the king appointed singers to walk ahead of the army, singing to the Lord and praising him for his holy splendor.
Do not be afraid, stand up tall, for God's mighty hand will conquer all. Give thanks to the Lord, sing and declare his prayers as weapons, we're not on our own. Do not be afraid, stand up tall, for God's mighty hand will conquer all. Give thanks to the Lord, sing and declare his faithful love, it's always there.
As they started singing, the Lord caused the enemy army to fight among themselves. The Ammonites and Moabites attacked the Edomites and killed every one of them. Then the Ammonites and Moabites turned on each other. So, when the army of Judah arrived on the scene, all they found were dead bodies lying on the ground. Not a single one of the enemy had escaped. Just as God had promised, this was the Lord's battle and they would not need to fight. There was so much plunder, it took them 3 days to gather it and cart it away. On the 4th day, they gathered in the Valley of Blessing, as it is called today, to give thanks and praise to God. They returned to Jerusalem, accompanied by a band of harps, lyres, and trumpets. They then proceeded to the temple to give thanks to God. When all the surrounding kingdoms heard that the Lord himself had fought against the enemies of Israel, they were very afraid. So Jehoshaphat's kingdom experienced peace on every side. Towards the end of his reign, however, he went into partnership with Ahaziah, king of Israel, who was a very wicked man. They built ships at Ezion-Geber to sail to Tarshish. The ships set sail to open up routes for new trade. Then God sent the prophet Eleazar with a message for King Jehoshaphat.
Because you have allied yourself with King Ahaziah, the Lord will destroy your work.
The ships met with disaster and never arrived at Tarshish. It was another unwise alliance that Jehoshaphat made